Broadcasting live from the backstretch at Saratoga, this is the Handicappers Report. Brought to you by CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Handicappers Report alongside Seth Merrow. I am Anthony Mormino on. It just might be the best morning. It's the one we're living, so we'll call it the best one. But weather-wise, it's flawless. I mean, it is so beautiful. And you would expect on Traverse Eve, tremendous traffic on the racetrack today as they're all getting out their licks on what must be a clear, fast racetrack, and I would expect today to be firm. So
I got stuck the crossing at the harness track. And I don't know if I've ever seen that many horses go across. There had to be like 24 that went across.
Holy cow!
And there was a break in the middle. I thought, oh, here we go. And the guys holding the stop signs were not seeding the road, and so I knew. And then a whole other, it was
battalion came in.
Yeah, they were.
Well, unfortunately, it's kind of like it's. Such a great weekend, but you just know the end is near, unfortunately. One of the great double-edged swords of all time. But one of the things I always like Churchill Downs obviously has their big thing right away. Then they just got to go through the rest of the meet. Here we have the more traditional type of build-up type thing. But
and a lot of people over the years have said ended on the track. I like the last week.
I know you liked the last week. I like the last week for a vacation. Selfishly, but once again, you get to the idea. I think we're a couple years away from celebrating 30 years of running on Labor Day. And that's once again one of those things that far more in my lifetime have we run on Labor Day than not. But I used to, even when it was like 30 days, go all out. And I love that week in between to take a true legitimate vacation. But the end is near. But boy, I would say, Seth, 20 out of like the most recent 22 mornings have been very nice. Maybe we had the rain on Wednesday. We had a couple of warm humidity days. I know we did the show without the jackets one time. It was so warm by 8:30. But I'll tell you, that rain came, took it all, what you always hope for. It took the humidity with it on the way out.
Yeah, that was the early part of the meet. It was either had some torrential rain or we had sauna-like humidity.
Yeah, the beginning of the meet was.
But it has been last few days and right through tomorrow as well. I guess there was some potential on Sunday, but it's one of those where there's some potential. So don't get worried about it, because I heard on the news last night they said, there may be some showers, but some areas won't see anything. So I think it's a little unpredictable for Sunday. So we'll keep our fingers crossed there. But tomorrow looks like today. Looks absolutely fabulous. So looking forward to a good Travers week, certainly ending with a nice Travers weekend as well. Should be fun. The undercard's great. The Travers itself with the 5 horses, intriguing. And it's been kind of fun and interesting to talk to people over the past couple of days about the potential of magnitude. There are various opinions there. I just think Sovereignty is the lead 3-year-old at this point, clearly.
You bring up a great point. And obviously for a guy who's trying to beat horses like K-Cup all the time, we'll get to later, but he's going to be way too short of a price to upset Sovereignty. He's a terrible price as a function of that race. He's a terrible price. If Sovereignty wasn't in it, he should maybe only be 2-1.
If Magnitude isn't in it.
Right. No, if Sovereignty wasn't in the race, Magnitude is.
Oh, you're saying Magnitude's going to be a bad price.
It's a terrible price.
But I don't know. By post time, maybe it's a little bit better. I don't know.
I don't know that you talk
because I don't know, because people are looking at him.
And
that'll be interesting.
I've said it often that this Travers is a good setup for it. That the second price horse is like a trap also. You never get the right price. And I saw the morning line, and the buyer speed figures stick out for Matt. I mean, but I'm like, that's a horrific price taking on Sovereignty. I don't know if I'd like journalism at 2-1 taking on Sovereignty. It's like, and I really, because the PPs came out early, which we love, by the way, kudos to Naira and David Aragona getting the morning line out. I saw that. I'm just like, it might be the worst bet of the meet. He's not, because like I said, okay, what price do you think he would be without Sovereignty? He's not going to be 3 to 5.
No,
he'd be like 7 to 5, maybe.
Yeah.
So how can he be 2-1 against Sovereignty?
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me.
Like I say, it's going to be interesting to see how it actually shakes out by post time. But with a 5-horse field, that also plays into the odds being a little screwy too.
I mean, I've said it before. I mean, for me, Panacea is the price. I mean, you tell me the price, I can tell you opinion. And, I think we kind of got it right. They went what I call hog wild for K Cup, and not that I'm sitting here because did you have the winner too? Viamente, or did you put him in second?
I put him in second.
Right. I thought,
yeah.
But I'm like, there's no, listen, the caveat for me is I picked the most last place horses. I understand that. But as I tell people, you don't have to pay a surcharge for your horse running last. But day in and day out, I felt as if.
Well, you were looking at the 6 to 5 and questioning that. I thought they'd go down there, went off at like 3 to 5, right?
Well, odds on, maybe 4 to 5. I was like,
it was 3 to 5 at some point close to
like,
post time.
There is no way. Those type of races, boy, if they had 9 of them a day, I'd have to work about 1 week a year, because it's like you can't take that type of price in that situation. I am of the belief ever. And you'll come out. It doesn't happen often enough. But I was like, I just thought there was so many holes in K Cup going that short. But people.
And the flip of that is K Cup on the morning night 6 to 5, Viamente at 7 to 2. Viamente goes up a little.
Yes.
And I had him right underneath. It clearly right underneath.
Little visitor, little rabbit visiting today. But that's also many times. Now many times. You're going to get the bump up on the horse that you like when they go hog. It doesn't always happen, but the nature of pari-mutuel wagering is, David sets a great line. He sets it at the right number of points. So if they go, what I like to say, hog wild for somebody, there's a very good possibility that your odds are going to go up. And as I like to say, I'm more happy. Horrible English as my AP English teacher rolls over. I'm much happier when the odds go up. I never walk away. I told this story before, I think, and it's over 30 years now. My breakthrough moment on not caring about the tote board, a friend of mine had told me for years, he's like, as the odds go up, you go back to the window and bet more.
Yeah.
And the horse was Heed in the Najana years ago. I think Blacksburg was the favorite, and August Belmont, I want to say his last stakes victory in New York. And I think I bet her at 11. Came out of the paddock. She was 17. Bet more.
Yeah,
that's when I just, developed the confidence to be.
Time about the 2-year-old races, and I totally disagree. When you have first-time starters, I've said it many times. Yeah, if you have a horse that's 8 to 1 on the morning line, you look up there 3 to 5. That is worth paying attention to. But if you have a horse that's 6 to 1 on the morning line and you look up and they're 12 to 1, if I like the horse, I'm happy with that move.
I think if they go the way you said it the first way, I want no part. I've been at home sometimes watching the races, and I'm like, I don't want my top pick. That's awful.
That is clearly whispers, though, which often pay off up here. But the fact
whispers are tough.
The fact is that you just don't know up here what you have in a race, and so you float up a little bit. Yeah, I'm all for that. I jumped into the low rollers yesterday, and I couldn't get my ticket to my swiper to work. That was right before post time. I waited too long. I couldn't get the swiper to work, so I missed the winner of the first race at $10. That would have been a great start. But then I was stuck running
one of your
second.
The two guys, was it Jay and somebody else? They help
Jay
you out?
No, I was up 2 floors from them. But Jay and Ray, say hello to them when you play. And again, low rollers is now going to be, I think, the next 2 Sundays and Thursday as well.
Now, is that just a Saratoga thing, or will that continue at Aqueduct?
Well, they used to do it downstate. I don't think they have in a while, but they did a couple of, when we were down covering the Belmont one year. I won they had one the day before the Belmont, and I won that one.
See, I am the great anti-marketing thing because I think it's sensational. We're not doing it anymore. We're not doing it.
Well, I think it all depends on the size of the crowd they get to play. So it's just, you have to kind of pick your spots.
Gotcha.
But DJ Jazzy yesterday was one of those horses that I used and ran second, and I wound up with, I think it was 18-7 place and show, so $25 there, and that you get. I had another one like that on the card too. Oh, it was the second.
What place did you finish in?
I don't know where I finished, but I beat the contest. I couldn't pull up the leaderboard late. I beat the you put $40
so you got
in
like,
I wound up with 50 or 60.
Good job.
Something like that. And I think somebody told me late in the day that somebody already had like $100.
I already put mine away, but I trust they posted on their website, right, Dino?
They do.
Right, Dino? I don't want to.
But I have a. I had.
Remember when
QR
Johnny
code
Carson
yesterday.
used to always, not always, but he would call off. What was his name? Freddie
DeCordova. Yeah.
That's what I call. I think of
He's
Dino
our Freddie
now.
DeCordova.
Yeah, he's our Freddie DeCordova. I'm like it. He's kind of like seems to be the same role that Johnny kind of led us to assume Freddie was doing while the show was going out.
but in the
could you look up to see how the contest went
second race yesterday, it was another one where I like St. Bridget's Cross, and as I said, that was going to be my dark horse play of the day. But then with the surface switch, I went later. Both horses finished second.
But
St. Bridget's Cross ran second. Again, at a decent price. But my second pick, and I really debated, this is one where I looked up at the odds, and the odds were great on the first from Kenny McPeak. And I probably should have gone there, and that one won. But I was perfectly happy. If you played around with the picks, the top two flip-flopped. It was like $150 exacta for $1. So there were some opportunities. He gave that out in the Times Union yesterday. The plays in the Times Union did very well yesterday. So, but again, low roller. I was running second with some prices all day long.
Just
so
because
you got to have some kind of winner in the mix.
Yeah, that's why when Freddie that's his new nickname from now on, Freddie.
I don't know. They have a QR code down at the booth, and you may have to
see
pop
what
the QR code.
What the winner was, because sometimes.
I mean, it was a day. You had $22 winner, $28 winner, two $28 winners. So, somebody was going to wind up with a decent total at the end.
Yep, that contest to me is outstanding because I have been a visitor in the other one. Like I am almost my friend who is a participant almost always, I go to the BC and there's some people, the way they play it, the money, it sounds silly. It's like, no, they're busted out on Friday. They're just like, they're just, and what was the one guy 2 years ago? He's like, I'm going to get up to 100,000 and I'm going to bet Flightline. And my buddy's like, I'm getting up to 100,000. My wife ain't letting me bet Flightline.
Well, the guy who did it said he kind of alerted the wife beforehand what the game plan was going to be.
Yeah, but that's fine when it's in theory. But then when you're looking at the six figures, my wife would not have the same thinking. You know that old Abbott and Costello, the roulette thing? He's having a conversation with him, and he keeps saying a number, and he wins like 3 times in a row, and he's got this thing, and then he loses. He goes, I lost $2. He didn't even realize how much he had on the table going in. Yeah, it sounds good in theory. Yeah, honey, I get it rolling and everything. She's nodding her head. Get up to 100,000. This horse is a once-in-a-generation horse. I'm going to put it all on. That sounds good over coffee. And then she looks over and, whether it's mortgage or weddings or college tuition, be like, I don't care how good he is. He could be Pegasus. Cash out here.
That's what I've said about those live money contests. That for me, I would get to a point, and most of these guys who win push all in at the end, and it's just I get to a certain total, I just could not push all in.
Because I have thought about making a run. The entry fee is steep.
Although you can play the feeder contest and get in for a relatively modest amount of money.
But the thing that I have seen is it's all immaterial. It really doesn't matter what you do the first 11 or 12 races because there's going to be not every single person, 50% of the people with money left are putting it all in. So you really just have to get the classic right.
But you have to win early so you have enough of a pot to make that worthwhile.
Right, because the top 8 finishers all had the Classic winner, and there's usually at least 12 horses in the Classic, and at least 30 people have every single horse. So that's tough. That is tough, but it's the premier one, so you understand it. But so a perfect day. We don't expect many changes, right? Yeah.
Bounced around yesterday at the track. I always run into people at the track who appreciate this show, the next show. I always appreciate hearing those people. Yesterday, it was like a
old home week.
It was more than usual at the track, but then I went over to Ciro's for the first time.
Rumor has it 2 nights in a row, a social agenda.
Pinnell's Thursday or Wednesday, and
make sure kickoff is a little early tomorrow in case you have plans for tonight.
But Ciro's, a lot of people walked up, and I always appreciate it. I always appreciate the feedback, but a lot of people were walking up and saying they enjoyed the show. Rob said we gave him a shout out last year, and he was thrilled about that. So I'll give him another one today. Sean, one of the tellers, said he watches every morning, so I'll give him a shout out as well. But yeah, there's a lot of people, and again, most every day somebody walks by, but yesterday there was a lot of people. So I just wanted to note that we appreciate the feedback.
We do.
Always. You made a great point. Programming note tomorrow because of the early post time. Travers Day, 11:10 post time tomorrow. That means the NYRA pregame show will kick off at about 9:30. So we'll be here with the Handicappers Report at 8. We'll do an abbreviated Race Day Across America at 9 tomorrow. So keep that in mind. We start an hour earlier tomorrow. Also keep in mind today, tote bag day up here. If you want to come up and grab a tote bag, free with paid admission while supplies last. So keep that in mind up in this direction. And as far as OTB today, we have the Players Bankroll down at the Clubhouse Racebook, which is always a lot of fun. Pick a team, randomly selected. You're given some money, every team member given some money in a race to play. And then at the end of the day, the money that has been earned is split up amongst the team. And a couple of weeks ago, the team kind of cleaned up, did a good job. And so everybody walked away with a nice chunk of money. We'll see if they can do it again today. Players Bankroll at the Clubhouse Racebook. Tomorrow, the Bounty Bet returns. Late Pick 5 right here at Saratoga. Play it with your Capital OTB bet account, and you get a shot at that Late Pick 5 money. That's tomorrow, Saturday, Travers Day. Tomorrow at the Clubhouse Racebook, King of the Hill contest. A little extra fun on Travers Day if you elect to spend it down at the Clubhouse Racebook. So enjoy that. Fan Appreciation Day at the Latham branch. If you're a patron out in that direction, give us our chance to say thank you to you for your patronage. Food, vouchers, contest, always a lot of fun. And Sunday, as always, there is the Knockout Challenge, but we also have the Pick 3 Bankroll. Entries are open, and entries are filling up. So get your name in for your chance to be on the Pick 3 Bankroll team. Pick 3 Bankroll comes up on Sunday, and wish everybody that makes
Sunday's
the team
card. Good luck.
Oh,
because it is quite a head scratcher after the day of days of head scratcher. You did not get any layups in Sunday's card.
Well,
so
that
good
may
luck to
offer
you.
some opportunities.
Yes.
Top of the hour, Naj Thompson, our friend from
man.
New York Thoroughbred Breeders. And again, it's kind of the New York bred week up here. And I asked him, when I saw him yesterday and said, come on the show since we're doing the New York Reds this week. I said, why isn't it the day, like the New York Showcase Day? And
they broke him up.
Great idea. He said, if you have it on the one day, you're kind of weather dependent. And so you break them up and, it's the same races, but they're just kind of leading into the Travers and the day after the Travers. And so you're not,
So it's like spelling a lot different ways in a letter. You figure some of them are going to work out.
Sunday is a little dicey. And so I think it's a great idea.
It is. In the Northeast,
yes.
Yes.
So they broke them up. Albany yesterday, Iron Dome looked great, but we have some more
Fleet
New
Indian
York Red
yesterday
races.
Too. So they're doubling up. You got the West Point, you got the Yadu, etc. So that is.
So there's more coming up. So Naj Thompson, Jose Santos Jr., the guy who's revolutionizing the jockey agent game. Currently, I think he has 8 jockeys around the country. We'll talk about that more with Jose Santos Jr. and Bob Ealt from the Blood Horse will come by, give some thoughts on the weekend. Bob writes for the Blood Horse and America's Best Racing, so we'll talk with him about the weekend as well. All at 10 o'clock, Racing Across America.
I still haven't gotten word if that Latham branch is the longest continual branch. Freddie, you got that? It's your nickname for the last week. All right. Play of the DePaula play of the day, the Brooklyn Cowboy.
And they're off. Chevrolet, Mazda, and Ford right now at the DePaula Auto Group. Take off the savings you need on the vehicle that you want. New cars, trucks, SUVs, hybrids, and all electric. Delivered with DePaula savings. And the DePaula Auto Group has hundreds of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Remember, DePaula can service any make and model and has over 100 service bays. So buy DePaula. Think DePaula for all of your automotive needs. DePaula Auto Group. Chevrolet, Mazda, Ford, and pre-owned. DePaula.com.
Hello, everybody. Kevin Cox, the Brooklyn Cowboy here with the DePaula Play of the Day for Capital OTB from beautiful Saratoga Race Course. We've been giving you our plays of the day on Fridays and Saturdays throughout the meet, and we've been basing our success on a 50 to win, 30 to place, 20 to show wager for the bankroll team. While we've shown a flat bet profit in the first 3 years in doing this, we have 2 weeks left to do it for the fourth straight year. We're going to be tossing a long shot at you tomorrow for the play of the day. And today we're going to protect the bankroll team a little bit with a selection that should be no worse than second. It's in race 5, number 2, Tarpaulin. And this selection is only good if he runs, not the entry rate. This boy has been kept in jail since showing at this level about 4 weeks ago and returns at the same level from that afternoon while retaining the pilot from that day, an angle we always like to see. The figure posted was better than 66 of the collective 70 career dirt buys of the rest of the field combined. And we like the slight cutback in today's distance after fading a bit late in the game last time out. Those claiming off Brittany Russell click at a 33% win rate under identical circumstances, any track. And this one is looking solid for Linda Rice, who's likely going to be all out in the final 2 weeks to finish in the top 3 in the standings, if not second. So once again, during Travers Week, our play of the day will be in race 5 at Saratoga, for Capital OTB, number 2, Tarpaulin, for our DePaula play of the day. Have a wonderful day in the races, and we'll see you out there.
And they're off. Chevrolet, Mazda, and Ford right now at the DePaula Auto Group. Take off the savings you need on the vehicle that you want. New cars, trucks, SUVs, hybrids, and all electric. Delivered with DePaula savings. And the DePaula Auto Group has hundreds of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Remember, DePaula can service any make and model and has over 100 service bays. So buy DePaula. Think DePaula for all of your automotive needs. DePaula Auto Group. Chevrolet, Mazda, Ford, and pre-owned. DePaula.com.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, on Travers Eve. It couldn't be any nicer if you have some free time on this Friday. It's hard to imagine you could spend it any better. All right, the opener, State Breds, dashing 5.5 on the turf, juveniles.
7-5, 8 and 3. Going to put number 7, Cristobal on top. There's a sibling called Arden's Assault, third in debut and won the second start. We'll see if this one can repeat the older sibling here, running third in the first start and winning today. Blinkers go on. First start I thought was a decent effort, so we'll put that one on top. Second spot, Berman. There was a sibling for this one called Bad Girl Betty Lou, fourth in debut, won the second start, so there's some win early there. Comes up from Monmouth to face the State Breds here, understandably, and I think a player in the debut effort. And then make a prediction, another one coming off a debut try that was, I think, a good foundation maybe to build on to go forward. I will mention Takahama, trainers Marissa Montserrat. I'm wondering if that is some relation, daughter maybe to Felix, who was the trainer of Sippy Chippy back in the day. So I just thought that was a little bit interesting, and comes in from the Finger Lakes, obviously.
Entered a couple horses over the next couple days.
Interesting. 7-5, 8 and 3 for me.
I'll 3-7-8, but I want to just focus on the 7 here. To me, we talked about it. We've talked about it really the last 2 weeks, I think, more than ever before. And wasn't there a 1 to 10 shot at Finger Lakes that pulled half a broad brush? blew the turn, but
Oh, the other day?
blew the turn.
Just the other day, a
Yes.
couple days ago.
And
I don't know if it was one. It was short, and
I think it was
and
1-9
had
on
a
the board.
really good lead. And yeah, wound
Pulled
up,
half a
wound
Broad
up at the
Brush
hot dog
in the
stand.
Penn Derby.
Yeah,
When Broad Brush bolted, he re-rallied to win the Penn Derby in 1986. This guy did not. My point here is, and Seth was saying, we talked about it with Secretary. It's like, you look at Claimer 5s and there's a 3 to 5 shot. Cristobal is in the same boat for me. I mean, I'm a big believer in running less well. I mean, I like to say that I coined that phrase. That was an okay effort at 6-1 on the debut. They're adding blinkers today. What makes this guy 4 to 5? It's just
I'm
I
questioning.
got a 2 to 5 coming.
I'm questioning if we'll get that. I'm
gonna-
off the debut. It's a number that stacks up well with the other ones that have run.
It doesn't even reach the par.
Yeah, but it's not overwhelming.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think what may happen here, and I don't want to speak for him, and you had him on the show, but where maybe David's just how much they pile on favorites. And because David's job is to predict the price the bettors set, not to pick winners. So he could be very right that Cristobal is 4 to 5. What I'm saying is there's no way I like him. This, I might start calling it the K Cup angle. But so King of Fog, who's 10 to 1, the debut race, just throw out. It did exactly what I liked on Independence Day, which is showed me some skill set and then didn't even pack it in, but just ran off the board. 27 to 1 that day. I'm not going to get that price today, but David has King of Fog, has him listed at 10 to 1. I'll take my chances. And then I have Cristobal for all college football fans that's about to kick off. Okay, see what I did there? And then make a prediction. I don't think even when I was 10 years old, Seth, I ever bet a horse because of its name, but make a prediction would have the best chance of getting there for what we do for a living.
Second race today. Top of the page, I've written wide open is your optional claimers, non-winners of 2 other than 3/4 of a mile.
I completely agree because all 6 are in it for me. There's not a, and what I hearken to this from time to time. I don't know how horizontals get through it unless you have 3 singles. I guess it also would depend on which horizontal you're playing, but I was mostly thinking to pick 5. Good luck. And I agree with Seth. So for me, I couldn't take the 5 on top. I'm 6'5" too, and Seth is similar. Bourbon Breeze, is a player here. Rudy Brissett sends out this runner. I'm on the outside. I have tactical speed going 6. Irad takes them out for, I believe, the first time ever. Everybody's in it to win it. And I'm 4 to 1, which makes me the third longest shot. Tricky Temper. What I like about Tricky Temper is the 3rd race in the cycle was runner-up in the Johnstone 7 furlong stakes race, and that was a big improvement off a debut. Now, according to the buyer, he has to improve again. Seth, I don't think there's anyone that could hit a buyer par with a jet engine. This has to be one of the softest 2 X's you could have. These horses are, Tricky Temper. And then I have Princess Madison. I'm going back to the race last year at Saratoga. A 94, which seems to be a baby Yoda. Not all. Yeah, you like that. 6'5" I'm going to come up with all these little.
Not quite baby Yoda.
No.
But
the idea
Yoda,
where one number just sticks out like a sore
yeah.
thumb is the baby Yoda angle.
Yeah. 6, 2, 5, and 4 for me. Bourbon Breeze. I almost made Bourbon Breeze my dark horse play of the day, but I didn't want to do that in the race I've labeled. Wide open. But you're getting 4 to 1 on the morning line for a horse that I absolutely think is a player in here. That's 79-2 back when they went out to Prairie Meadows to Tri-Stakes Company. I think is going to fit. The last race for Tricky Temper with the 88 and the Johnstone gets it done here. And you go further down the page, there are better numbers, but just prior to the Johnstone, numbers weren't quite as good. Now, some of those were last year, and the other one was the seasonal debut. So maybe that 88 is what we get to. And Tricky Temper, 9-5 on the morning line. Might wind up being the one to beat. But I have that one third, Bourbon Breeze on top, and they bookend Princess Madison, who is making the third start of the season as well. And I thought off the two improving efforts could be a little bit interesting for Phil Bauer, who, again, having a pretty good meet with limited starters in the second, 6, 2, 5, and 4.
On to the third, talking about breaking up the breeders, the New York State Stakes races. 2-year-old fillies in the Seeking the Ante.
And here she is, Iron Orchard, who went in that restricted race where there was only two
who
or
literally
three of them.
put a stake in the heart.
I want to say there was two of them, but there might have been three. Okay,
there was at least there was at least two. This was the first one, and then there was.
And if people aren't aware, it was one of those auction races where the entrance had to be sold at auction below a certain price. But early on in the meet, they had a condition that a New York bred could also enter, regardless of price. And this one who
and Iron Orchard said regardless of price,
who cost $500,000.
Well,
at a 2-year-old sale.
I want to put a stop on this for a second. What do you think Danny Gargan, when he saw the condition book come out,
or Randy Hill, or they were like,
they'd be like, whoa. We got something here.
And it completely lived up to it with a smashing debut effort in there. And it's just, the number just stands out in here. It was a big victory. It was in a funny condition, however, but I think Iron Orchard is clearly the one to beat. Grazie in the second spot for Todd Pletcher off a nice-looking debut victory. But again, the number was significantly lighter than the top pick. But oftentimes the second start shows big progression number-wise. So we'll see. Same idea for Shakti, who ran well in debut. For Jenna Antonucci, should be a player again today. Fun field, but again, if Iron Orchard can get back to what we saw in the debut or move forward from that, she's the one to beat. 3, 6, 5, and 1.
Yeah, everything told me that I was supposed to reverse my top two picks. I'm not going to do that. The reason Shakti, who was drew the rail, it's that running line, and yes, Iron Orchard has the same one. You speed pop the field, you control the race, and you usually get like kind of a breather in the middle because no one wants to attack early. And that breather is what I feel allows you to run strongly through the lane and prevent anybody from making an impact on your winning margins. And you get up in the stakes company, it's not going to, it's less apt to happen. And we have speed poppers, all won that way except the rail horse. So maybe I should have put Angel Gift on top for Mike Rapoli and Todd Pletcher. But Iron Orchard's performance on July 3rd was just, it was just solid. It was better than just getting out there and getting everything your way. This horse was ready for a debut, and I think could have handled not getting everything her way. So I have her on top. Jenna Antonucci sends out Shakti is my second pick, who I thought was really good on debut also. And then Grazi, the other Mike Rapoli horse who won an off racetrack. But I'll tell you, I really feel as if my faux pas, I'm comfortable with Iron Orchard on top, but that I've left Angel.
As you're talking about
Angel
it, I'm
Gift
thinking
out.
exactly the same thing. I put Angel Gift in the bottom spot. But Angel Gift won the other one of those crazy restricted races at 300,000. This one snuck in and won nicely, and then had trouble when they went out in the open stake. They tried the Adirondack against open.
It didn't work out. A good horse ran off.
So
I think that's the mistake I made.
I'm thinking the same thing. I should have had Angel Gift up further.
Now, before we go to break, other thing, pick a number for Iron Orchard on the board.
4. All right, 3.
Now,
3. I'm going 3.
Doesn't Iron Orchard seem more like the type of 4 to 5 shot than Cristobal in the first race?
Yeah,
I agree. What'd you say?
I'm thinking
2
3,
to 5.
maybe. 3.
3. Okay, I think 2. Take a quick break. We'll be right back.
For more than 4 generations, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 103-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients, served in a home-like setting. Some things have changed in the last 103 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
The only thing better than watching the races is watching your own racehorse. With nearly 20 years experience in the racing industry, Bonaventure Stables' share-based ownership program enables everyday fans to become part owner of a thoroughbred for far less than you might think, with all the ownership perks at Saratoga, Belmont, Aqueduct, and other great tracks. Experience the thrill and lifestyle of owning your own thoroughbred racehorse. Learn more at bonaventurestables.com.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report, the day before the day at Saratoga. It's Friday of Travers Week, and again, it is a gorgeous morning up here. We'll kick back in for this afternoon's card with race number 4, Plain Vanilla Claimers down towards the bottom at 12.5, going out of the mile chute.
I got to think that is the bottom here.
I think as I was saying, I was trying to
think. And I know you have a big social agenda this week, and so you probably didn't get to your card stock thing, but 415. I like the 4 the 5 area. 4, 8 in here. I thought on balance this was not quite as wide open as the second race on the card, because I don't think all 8 are in it to win it, but I think 5 of them are. 415 for a bold endeavor. First off the claim 4. Oscar Barrera III has scored at Saratoga, was runner-up in a muddy 9-furlong race. That was the first start since April 17th. I like that as a tightener for here. For second, number 1, Peak. Robbie Falcone. Is it Falcone or Falcone? Falcone. You had the interview. We got that straightened out. It only took me 2 tries. Makes the third start after the claim in a cycle. I like that. But as I've said, you watch head on, number 1 might not be as good as you think for a post position, and then Brew Pub going out first off the claim, 415.
I just pulled it out. You mentioned it because I have the 7 on top, and the 7 does have a win at the meet. So, I'll use that one, but only 1 win at the meet. As you say, the 4 and the 5
now,
seem to be
just a quick
very
thing.
nice.
What was the price on him? Because that's what I always tell people. Yeah, okay, you go ahead.
You know which column that's in.
550. So a favorite. So that kind of goes to the idea of, let me run this down to give people like.
And I'm just looking. I'm the morning line favorite.
Right. So here's just to show how usually with a stat you need 1 more. So Seth was pointed out yesterday. 7, 8, and 9 have 4 wins: 550, 510, 440, and a price horse. So of the outsiders who have made their way, they were the best horses in the race, perhaps, and they were able to overcome it because. Your eyes don't lie to you. The geometry, no one's raising their hand.
Yeah. And again, the morning line favorite,
yes.
So maybe turns out to be best from the 7.
Right. You just have to be a little bit better. I'll put it this way. I probably should have parsed out how many horses over 8-1 out there have done anything.
Oh.
Even been able to hit the board from out there. That might be a better tale of the tape.
7, 1, 4, and 5 for me. Number 7 on the class drop. Hasn't been seen since April, but goes out for Linda Rice, who, again, having a very good meet. This one gets a class move that I think is going to be very beneficial and probably mitigates somewhat that layoff. So we'll put this one on top. Has some nice positional early speed. Obviously, you'll have to be tactical from that outside at this trip. Then I'll use the 1 Peak going out for Rob Falcone. Tried this trip last time against 20 claimers and ran a decent third. So now we get some class relief that I think is going to move this one potentially forward. And then Bold Endeavor in the third spot off a good second last time, going 1 1/8 over a muddy track. That was off a little bit of a layoff, April to July. So maybe benefits from that, moves forward, comes off the claim, however. So we'll see what this one can do in the Oscar Barrera barn, but looks like a player off again the last start, certainly in the fourth. 7, 1, 4, and 5.
On to the fifth. It might be more dollars, but it's got the 2L claimers going 6.
2 entry, 6, the 1 entry, and 4. The 2 entry Tarpaulin and Coyote or Coyote. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but it is the 2B. But I prefer Tarpaulin, the plain 2. Comes off a claim at this level last time, moves into the Linda Rice barn. She's very good off the claim. Claimed away from Brittany Russell, who is a high percentage trainer down in the Mid-Atlantic, but has been moving around the country the past couple of years and does well. But this one ran third on the move up to Saratoga for Brittany Russell. Again, claimed out of that third into the Linda Rice barn. Relatively lightly raced. I think a cozy fit at this level and with this bunch. The other half of the entry, I think, could also be a player with a little bit of early speed. Second spot, Sitting Chili, lightly raced. Started life in the Wesley Ward barn and had a win in the career debut back in May. They came back in a similar race last time and ran third, claimed out of that race. I think, again, like the top pick, the third last time, it just shows this horse is kind of in the comfort zone with this type. And then the 1 and the 1A, Macville and Western Wolf also look to be players in here for Wayne Potts. It's not a particularly strong field, so my confidence is tepid in here. But 2 entry, 6, 1 entry, and 4.
And this is a perfect example of just how Seth and I handicap differently.
I find it hard to believe this is going to be 4 to 5, though. I don't think this is a standout by any means.
I agree, but we have correctly said how much we entrust David's morning line. I mean, he's great at his job. But to me, I put the 2 over the 6, and I like the entry also. I see it exactly the same way, that Tarpaulin is the better half, getting more energy. But Sitting Chili at 10-1, first off the claim, that's just a nature that I'm going to go versus an odds on at a 17-5 2L. I mean, I could, get egg on my face, but Sitting Chili making the third career start. My jock is, doesn't get a lot of mounts. I'll take the entry, and then I'll take Majestic Arc on the outside, shortening up from 7/8. I think could be tough in here, but I am 6, 2E, and 8.
All right, let's move on to race number 6 this afternoon. Oh, right. I was thinking after 6, but after 5. So we will head to a break. We'll come back and continue looking at the Friday card. Stay tuned.
Beautiful morning.
It only takes one upset to make history, and now you can be part of Saratoga's long tradition at the Dark Horse Mercantile. The Dark Horse Mercantile offers a carefully curated selection of clothing, gifts, and home decor, from one-of-a-kind vintage racing memorabilia to select brands like Barber and Under Armour, as well as exclusive Dark Horse branded merchandise. So celebrate the Dark Horse in all of us at the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga, where the smart bet is always the Dark Horse.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
You like free money? Well, Capital OTB gives its players plenty of opportunities to cash in. At Capital OTB, there are so many ways for horse players to receive bonus dollars by simply participating in promotions such as our bankrolls, bounty bets, online handicapping contests, and much, much more. Plus, with Capital OTB's Player Rewards program, you get actual cash back. So what are you waiting for? Log on today at CapitalOTB.com or CapitalOTBBet.com and claim your free money.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Oops, my bad. Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Welcome back, Seth, Merrow, Anthony Mormino, taking a look at today's Saratoga card, and we'll kick back into action with race number 6 this afternoon. Maiden special 2-year-old fillies going 8.5 furlongs on the grass.
And this was a head scratcher for me. I know we are very enamored with the dirt races for 2-year-olds, but this looks outstanding for a grass race. You have I'm 2-3-1A, and counterintuitive draws the hedge here as the rails are down for Travers Week on both courses. An offspring of Not This Time, and earlier in the meet I mentioned, I think at that point Not This Time had 3 2-year-old filly winners on the turf, which is counterintuitive to what you think Not This Time would do. I don't pick horses by names, but this is Chad Brown and Klarovich. For second, Actus Tom Amos's runner. I like the debut. For me, it has all the earmarkings of practice. And then Todd Pletcher sends out the entry once again. I think we were in practice. I expect a marked improvement off this offspring of Wooten Bassett, who also has the 7 in here, but a terrific juvenile turf race.
5, 2, 6, and 7 for me. I almost made this my play of the day, but your 2 was so close for me. I couldn't parse those 2 out, so I didn't make this one the play of the day, but I do like Celebrity Warrior. Again, you can look up these sales if you use Equibase, but this one was sold at the Golf November full sale in 2023. Attracted 109,000 as a foal. It's Mike Rapoli, Todd Pletcher. I think this horse will be live in the debut. Todd Pletcher can have them ready going the 2 turns on the grass up here. So Celebrity Warrior, very interesting to me. At a little bit of value at 9-2. Counterintuitive, though, is going to always attract my attention with a Chad Brown Klarovich team firster. The sire, obviously, Not This Time, has been, as you say, notable at the meet, particularly with the winner the other day for Tommy Amos. But there's some siblings from the dam. Capcom won the career debut. Solving Progress won in the 3rd start of the career. So solid as well on breeding for a debut runner. An Amicable Farce also by Not This Time, also from Chad Brown with some local connections. Yeah. So for me, in the 6th, 5, 2, 6, and 7.
Is that William Lawrence?
It is. Yep.
I know Bill, like, personally pretty well for a while, and that is a big hookup, the Don Alberto stable. That is a major player. They have the horse coming back Sunday up the long layoff, ran the 94 last summer.
Oh, Senza Parole.
Right, that's Don Alberto's stable, a homebred, I believe.
A lot of people are looking forward to that.
Wow. Like I said, I mean, I understand the excitement behind a 94 juvenile debut, but I'm always like, you're going to run a 114 in your career? It's like, we'll see, though. And I think she's a short price on her return. We'll see. On to the 7th race. 3-year-olds up, claimers going the 9 furlongs on the dirt.
5, 4, 1, and 6. We'll put Manta Ray on top. First off the claim for Ilkay Cantermachi. We've mentioned a couple of times at the meet already. Very good off the claim. Claimed away from Norm Cassie, who brought this one up from Kentucky for a good 2nd last time. So comes in good form. Trainer who does well off the claim. Seems logical. Is certainly a player. Systemic change in the 2nd spot for Steve Asmussen, stepping out of Allowance Company in here. And I think with the class move, this one gets an improved finishing position off the last few starts. And then margin of error in the 3rd spot. Also, Ilkay Cantermachi off the claim. Comes right back at the level of the claim and won last time in a very similar race. So I think this horse, a player as well, with the whole scenario working out. 5, 4, 1, and 6.
I must confess, I had little to no feel for this race. I'm surprised we're in the same ballpark. I try to make a case for the 7. One race since July of 23. Steiner, so systemic change to me. The race that's wide open coming back here out of restricted allowance races. Monterey first off the claim after a sharp effort going 9 turns. 3rd race since April at Oaklawn, and then margin of error really, off of the most recency and down inside. But I wouldn't put the horse on top because I just think it was so even. 4-5-1.
Race number 8. We're looking at optional claimers with a C condition. I'm just looking. I didn't look at the. There's a 1, 2, 3 in here for the $100,000. They'll travel 9 furlongs.
Yes, 8-7-3 for me, and full screen is in for the 100,000 because we were claimed for 100,000 coming out of the July 18th race for Brad Cox. That was a turf effort. We get back to the dirt. We've had success previously, nearly hit the triple buyer speed figure rooting at Oak Lawn Park. For second, Money Supply, a very consistent runner, comes off of 2 turf races. And for third, Cherie DeVoe sends out the 5. Second start since Maidan, a good mile race coming back. 8-7-3.
8, 4, 5, and 3 for me. I also put full screen on top off the claim. Now that race the horse is claimed off of, the number went backwards a little bit, but boy, the numbers underneath are good enough. It moves into the barn of Brad Cox. He has good numbers in these situations. Turf to dirt, and that trying turf may be the reason that number went backwards a little bit. I think this horse is live in here. If the morning line holds up, I think that'll be generous. Cook Creek in the second spot steps out of Stakes Company for Mike Maker, but the most recent stake was the Razorback, was well beaten in there, but it was also back in February, so a little bit of a layoff to overcome. Film Star comes in off a nice win in a relatively similar race last time, and this is one of those I always say, why not right back? They ran well versus similar in the latest. Maybe they do it again today in the 8th. 8, 4, 5, and 3.
All right, take our final break. When we come back, another New York State bred race.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
For more than 4 generations, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 103-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients, served in a home-like setting. Some things have changed in the last 103 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And one of the 2 extremely long-standing stakes races at Saratoga, the West Point and the Yadu. And I've told this story before about the West Point where the starters sent the field away. Now, you have to understand this. This is about 1980, and they're running for 100,000. That was like the Kentucky Derby for New York breds. It was a dirt race. And I think 2 horses, maybe 3 weren't in yet. They sprung the latch. So, it's a premier race for New York bred. So they got together and they're like, we got to do something. So they developed the West Point, and it ran about 2 weeks later. They got the 100,000 again, and the same horse won it. And I'll tell you, one of the best trivia questions for Saratoga. Became the first horse to win 2 $100,000 races at the meet. And Frank Lovato Jr. was the jock. But the West Point handicap started because of the only time I think it's probably ever happened at NYRA when the...
Well, give us the name of the horse.
I don't remember the name of the horse.
Oh, what?
I know. I have everything. I know one thing. There was a short price favorite, and he got beat both times. but whomever the original winner. Hey, Freddie, who's the first winner of the West Point Handicap? Yeah, exactly. All right, who do you got? Because I have a 20-1 shot. So
I have it.
You're next door.
9, 2, 1, and 4. I put Sterling Silver on top. Now, the question mark here is going to be the turf. Does have one turf start and was off the board there, and it was off the page. So this one's interesting, but it's a Bill Mott trainee. Comes in off a third in the Johnstone, second in the Critical Eye before that. I mean, it's just a horse that's in good form, is in the hunt far more often than not. And so I'm going to trust this trainer, obviously, to be making perhaps a clever move here over to the turf today for a nice purse. Second spot, Awesome Check. Comes in off 3 starts so far this year that have all been good, moving in the right direction. Nice win last time. Should be set up for another good effort today. And then Mood Age Daydream. We had George Abreu in the other day, and he said, this was a couple of weeks ago, but I saw this horse was working. He said, yeah, we'll probably kick things off in the auto. She won the race last year, likes the track, obviously, with that win and a couple of starts over the track. So they were going to come back, but they have to overcome a relatively long layoff going back to October. But I have it 9, 2, 1, and 4.
Yeah, wise guy. Quintessential. Freddie's not getting it that fast. The winning horse, I don't know who the favorite was. The same for both of them. I thought it was the way I love horse races, which is wide open, full field horses. This is so when that's the case, and I was able to find a horse that I like at a big price, and that's, you see, 842. She's Artiz. I think the Susie O'Kane might be a good prep for this effort here to move forward. I think, there's no doubt at 20-1, we have to improve, but I'm taking She's Artiz, who broke the maiden on first debut and then, took on the PG Johnson last summer up here. That was a bridge too far or a hill too high to climb, but She's Artiz has 3 starts under the belt this year. I'm expecting the best race of She's Artiz career. Now I have to hope she's good enough as a 3-year-old filly. But as I say, you get to ask far more questions when you're a big price. Spinning Colors, I have for second, third start in the cycle. It's going to lead them as far as it can go. I think it's fair to say gets a softer spot than the Della Rose. And then for third, Awesome Check for Horatio De Paz. I like the mile entry-level win, but 842 in what I see as an extremely wide-open Yadam.
All right, we will wrap it up. Race number 10 today, about 6:15. Conditional claimers going 5.5 on the grass.
9, 6, 11 for me. And you get out to Film Academy, making the third start of the year. Took nearly a year off, came back, and on the turf, improved the buyer's figure. That's fine. I might be skeptical. You rarely see that on dirt, but Film Academy for me on top for second. Identity Crisis, first time in for a tag, second time versus winners, and then holding the line. Can't believe, Seth, how many times I've said this. Making the seasonal debut, 9, 6, 11.
I have it 4, 5, 9, and 11. Alexis Zorba, and that is my dark horse play of the day. And again, I was searching. Yeah, exactly. I was searching all over on this card, but this one comes in. And it's the 7-2 morning line, but in a field this large, we'll see which direction. I think this horse could go either direction, and we make it a little more value. But comes in off a couple of starts up here at Saratoga in the Mike Trombetta barn. He's having a very good meet and shows some speed. And yesterday on the turf course, there was some speed that was useful, prominent. And so Alexis Zorba, I think, could be a player here on the front end, start to finish. That's what we're hoping for. Again, Dark Horse Play of the Day brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile and Impressions of Saratoga, both on Broadway in downtown Saratoga. So Dark Horse Play of the Day today, race 10, horse 4, Alexis Zorba, ran second with the Dark Horse yesterday. Second spot for me, Reynolds Channel, trying the turf for the first time, but I think off the claim, the Mike Maker trainee might be in a clever spot here at some value. And in the third spot, Film Academy for Mark Cassie, another trainer, having a very good meet. Class-wise, I think is going to stack up nicely in the 10th, 4, 5, 9, and 10.
All right, as I've said, It might be the most beautiful morning once again. Traffic is picking up. Travers Eve. He stays. I go. Have a great Friday.
This has been the Handicappers Report, brought to you by CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.